Welcome to our next clip, Humans at Risk. We're in the middle of going through the 20 reasons that contribute to good people doing bad things, and they will help us be don lekafschus. In today's clip, we're going to go through number 4, 5, and 6. Number 4, uneducated. We know the pasuk tells us, chanoch lenaar al pi darko, if you educate a child according to his ways, gam ki yazkin lo yasor, then even when he gets older, he will continue on the path of the chinuch he received and will not fall. How many of us are sure that the chinuch we gave our children was al pi darko? It could be that we as parents failed with the chinuch, taking away the guarantee of this child being gam ki yazkin lo yasor. It could be that when this child became an adult, he remained uneducated. And we certainly can't blame the child for that. Does that justify him to do averos? No, he has to educate himself. But the guarantee that gam ki yazkin lo yasor falls fairly and squarely on the parents who are chanoch lenaar al pi darko. The Mishnah writes in Sota, that when there's a sugya of a Sota where a woman was nisyachid, she secluded herself in a private place with a man after being warned explicitly not to. We don't know what happened there. And she's taken to Beis Din. She comes to Beis Hamikdash, and all the proceedings of a Sota are very degrading, and they cause a tremendous chilul Hashem. So we're trying to get her to admit, to own up and say, you know what, I did something wrong, and fine, there were no edim, she won't be killed, she'll get divorced, and then at least the story will end off without more chilul Hashem and more pain. If she didn't do the avera, then she didn't do the avera. She doesn't have to say she did if she didn't. If she denies it, then she'll be made to drink from the sota, from the water, and then if she didn't, is good, and if she did, then she'll suffer tremendously. So how are we going to encourage this girl, this woman, to own up? So the Mishnah says that we tell this girl, Biti, our daughter, which happens to be the way Chazal teach us how to address even somebody that did something seriously wrong. Speak kindly, Biti, my daughter. Harbe narus oise, childishness, may have caused you to do this avera. Now we know that she's not a child anymore. She's a grown-up woman. She's actually married. And nonetheless, she's a Sota. But we still say, Har ben narus oise. It could be that there's something left over from your childhood. The lack of chinuch, according to the way we're explaining it now. There was a lack of chanoch lenaar al pi darko, which made it harder for you to be able to control yourself. You didn't get the right chinuch. So we can't really blame you. So don't worry, you can own up. We'll understand. We'll accept it. Number 5, the inner child. And again, this is another explanation to har ben narus oise. The Gemoro says in Moed Koton, daf tes, Amud Beis, every single adult has a child inside of them. The Gemoro says every 60-year-old has a 6-year-old child inside them. The Gemoro in Erchin daf Yud Ches says that the definition of a yeled, the age of a yeled, which is translated as a child, is from the age of 20 to 60. So of course that we're all adults and we have Hashem has expectations of us, we have responsibilities, and we're held accountable for the things we're doing. But we all have an inner child inside us. Is that inner child a healthy inner child? Did it go through a comfortable, nurtured childhood? Or is that inner child who does not have bechira? The inner child is under bar and bas mitzvah. There might be a little 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, or 6-year-old who, for whatever good or bad reason, just has these drives of, in the case of the Sota, of just doing these averos, and it's hardly in her ability, she's hardly able to control her. The adult part of her does not yet have the tools to control the little child inside. Is it an excuse? Maybe not. Is it a don lekafschus? A tremendous one. Har ben narus oise. And number 6, immaturity, which is also an annex to har ben narus oise. Rabenu Yona writes in Ovos in Perek Gimel, Mishnah Chof, where he brings the pasuk, the David HaMelech says in Tehillim Chofhei, Chatois ne'urai upshai al tizkir. The chatois and the pshaim of my youth, don't remember them. Don't bring them up. Says Rabenu Yona, chatois hein bein hashkagois ubein hazudoinois she'odam oise b'na'arusei. When a person is young, even when he does something and he knows it's an avera, it's called a mazid, it's called a chatos. Chatos is the term used for a shogeg. Why? But oid yitzroi tokfo, his HAR is very strong, and we're going to see more on this in a future clip. V'daitoi nikla, and he's still immature. And that's why David HaMelech said that everything I did as a young child, it's all chatois. Even the things that I did as a pesha, those things I did as a mazid, I was immature at the time. The Gemoro says in Bab Metzia Daf Lamed Gimel Amud Beis that Amei Ha'oretz, who have not yet matured in their limud, it says that Amei Ha'oretz, the zdoinos, even though they're mazid, is naseis lehem kishgogis. We look at them as if it was a mistake, as if it just happened, because they're not yet mature enough to know and to be clear in what's shogeg and what's mazid. Immaturity, har ben narus oise. When we look at our teenagers, or even at ourselves, is it so clear that we got the chinuch that we needed in order to control ourselves? Is it so clear that our childhood was as healthy as it should be to allow us to become healthy adults? Have we matured in every area necessary to really be able to take the lead and say, no? Are we mechuyev to? Are we expected to? Yes. But when you have to be done like somebody else, can you be so sure that there's not some childishness, some uneducated or inner child that's in the driving seat? It might not be an excuse, but definitely a don l'kavschus.